Now I'm going to do the same thing as I did with navel radiation, but I'm going to just hold her knee and her ankle. And I'm going to lift it up and move it like I'm moving a little rain stick. Very, very subtle. Just watch this. Very, very subtle. And I want to see the jiggling in her belly. You see it? Look how I dropped it down. I dropped it down not by letting it go suddenly. I dropped it down by letting the leg kind of come close to the floor and then sweeping in this direction. So everything is sweeping. Because I want to get her tissues to feel like they can grow from the navel out into the endpoints. And notice how longer this leg is than the other leg. You see? Mm-hmm. And then holding this way. So I'm always holding the knee and the ankle, lifting it up. This is harder sometimes. If you have a very heavy person, you can get your foot to support their knee and then just do this. You see how her belly jiggles? Mm-hmm. That's a sign. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating this water connection through the bones, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just letting all of her tissues to receive the fluid. And then here's the tricky one, because you want to kind of go around to find where is the movement that goes into the belly. Can you see it now? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm not pulling her hand. I'm always holding both of her elbow and her wrist in her hand, and then creating this motion like a rain stick. Maybe a little bit more through the elbow here. That's it. And then I'm bringing it down. I could hug her shoulder blades from underneath and just pull it a little bit more. And then again, sweep. So she keeps, as I'm doing this, she's experiencing more and more and more gravity.
Definitely harder on that side, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit harder. I would expect this easier. It's interesting.
That's the shoulder that's expected.
You should?
This is,
Huh. It was more good. Yeah, there it's coming. You see? How I just went, you can imagine the balloons of water going with the adhesion area.
Yeah.
And it takes a while until you wake up and then poof, there is a movement to it. So now this arm feels really connected to the belly. You see how it jiggles now? You can feel it, eh? And then, this is a very nice, can you see me from here? Yeah? Why are you laughing?
Because you're gonna look at the video and you're gonna
You're
gonna laugh.
Who's this old lady there? Just take her out. Anyway, I want to see this technique so they can repeat it. You lift the arm. Elbow is very heavy. If the person is stiff, just remind them to release the elbow. And then from underneath, I'm sweeping underneath. You see how I lifted it? Underneath to cut her scapula and to move it away from the other scapula. Not down, away, to sweep it. And then to move it. So she has dropped quite a bit. Isn't that beautiful? And then the third and the fourth would be the head. So we can do the same thing with we did with Sharon, just moving. And then just defining the connection between the head. You see giggle, the jiggle? Okay. So pretty much the same. So now I'm going to go down. This is 3 techniques. One technique is sweeping, water, jiggling. This one is now working with more specifically jiggling of the organs. So I'm going to start with this gentle rocking of her. You can come to closer if you'd like to see how much of my pressure is here. Quite firmly, like on the ankle.
Is that a regular pressure, or does it depend on the individual? Or like, would you
Regular pressure. Regular pressure. And what I'm noticing, and she's noticing this too, and you can feel that too, is the more restriction into this area, right? Or more restriction into your right, into her left side. And she already said that the left shoulder is bothering her. So that's okay. As I'm doing this, you can do this, the more you do it, the more it's going to become even. That's the amazing thing with the fascia. You're just not working on the lesions, but you're only working in hydration. And what happens, the whole body starts to respond. Here you go. Now it opens. Can you feel it, Barb? It totally opened up now. Look, this side now is going down much closer. So that's opening for me, I want to open my entrance into the viscera. I want to feel the connection into the viscera. And then I'm going to start to jiggle more.
Do you ever get a client that just won't open? Or you just stay
because
with
you're
it?
speaking with the cells, there's no clients that...
Just-
Okay, there is another technique that if really there is somebody who has a hard time opening, you're going to use this technique. So this is the 5th technique. So you're going to learn a lot of techniques you have to remember. This technique is, whatever we can call it, a hip opening. I'm lifting the knee, and I'm dropping, and then sweeping and gliding. Lifting, dropping, sweeping, gliding. Watch my other leg, gliding. I'm not letting too soon. Lifting, dropping, sweeping, gliding. If I would let go of this too fast, it wouldn't be good.
No.
So
Yeah.
So this is, you might need to do this quite a bit before you're going to. So this, it release quite a bit. This one is always. This one can open almost, I don't know anybody who hasn't opened the hip in this particular one. Can you feel that? And I learned this from Luciana's teacher and my teacher Helen Walkley. This is from Laban technique.
What kind of technique?
A Laban movement analysis, yeah. She's a Laban movement teacher. Okay, and this one too actually I learned from. She's such a good jiggler, this teacher. So here I'm gonna just watch now how this time, the more you apply the different pressure, you're gonna work with a different layer of the body. So tapping and this kind of things would work more on the superficial layer. The bouncing quality works more on the superficial fascia. Sweeping quality works more on the superficial fascia. The more you work on the tension and pulling, works more on the deep fascia. That creates the tension quality through the body. The more I compress, I can feel I'm working more with the bones. So now her bones are moving more. But if I find a kind of in-between space where I can feel, let me get into her organs. And as more you practice this, like Helen is so skilled, she can say, oh, let me work with your left lung. I don't know if I'm working now the left lung. I think I am. Can you see it more through the left breast there? I'm trying to.
From this angle, I can see like the top. Like
Yeah,
there,
you see. So I'm actually, you could, and here, let me work with her cart. So I'm applying a different jiggling method. So really there's no, this is exploration. I'm working with her heart right now. Oh, and I could really see the pericardium, how it just goes open, 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 open. There you go, beautiful. And then I can work with the right lung. what this organ work is going to do is going to release her shoulders. Why? Because our organ is a container, but it actually, it's a content, but it actually shapes the container. Like people who don't have one kidney will change the shape of their back because the kidney's gone. Same thing if one lung is, if you don't have the working of one lung, then that side of the back is going to look very different than the other one. So your content is shaping your container. So that's very important to know. You can't work with people outside if you don't access the inside. That's why this work is very important. Okay, so I think I've okay, so now it's more like an intestinal area. You can see that, eh? And then now this is more of a lower pelvic area. So this is all really just the experience. I don't know what to say. Would you add anything to it? Do you remember?
Experience, you mean from yourself?
Yeah.
What I would add, just like noticing how the person who is working, how you sit,
Yeah.
and how you actually connect to the floor.
Yeah.
And pass through the other person too, because so you
Very
don't hurt
important.
yourself, and those things is.
Yeah, of course, you would have to take care of it. Thank you. Not only that, but if I feel that there is any restriction in her area, like in a left lung, let's say, that I'm seeing the restriction in the left lung, I'm going to connect my left lung. And I'm going to make sure that there is a movement through my left lung. And I'm sitting on my sits bone, so I'm not sitting in the front of my tail. So this will actually, my fascia in this way, because I feel grounded, I feel safe, I feel supported, it's going to talk to her fascia, and she's going to feel, oh, her fascia is going to talk to my fascia and say, you can, it's like a kin, it's like water, you can relax, you can relax. And then in the end, same thing, you can just work with that. So if you work with somebody, anybody who had injury or anything, you can kind of get them to experience this. And this will be a good way for her to then connect with the breath and good position to go into any posture. Because she's pretty fluid right now, and I think she can feel it. You kind of feel like you're floating in a lake. There is a sense of lightness and heaviness at the same time. If there is a word to it, what would you say? What's the word? Oh, wow.
Can you repeat the technique you used? So you did this.
Okay, let me repeat.
Yeah.
So first we did the same what we did last time. But before we do that, always ask the person, ask the body. Very light touch, safe, secure touch. Be aware of your own sense of space.
Check her masses.
Check her masses. Check her masses. And then you can do the sweeping. Okay, I spoke with somebody who was working with Bonnie a lot and with a woman called Susan Aportion who's doing body-mind psychotherapy, and I asked you a question. How, remember from last time, how we can call the boundaries of it. The people are there having a heavy thing, how can we... and her teacher said something very interesting. She said the fullness of the self is the boundary.
The
Fullness of the self is the boundary. The more I know myself, the more I feel the fullness of it. The more this quality I cultivate inside of myself, that is the boundary. Then my cells can feel, and
They're not going to take on.
yeah, they're going to take on, because it's not about, even if they have quality that they wanted to take on, it will be like a baby crying. I won't be with a baby crying. I will be more attending to as opposed to being drawn by. Another thing she says, it's not self-centeredness. It's a centeredness. It's a centeredness that we're
Right.
looking for. And that's what we're after. We're after centeredness. I like those two.
Yeah.
I really like
Centeredness
them.
and
It's a centeredness and the fullness of the self
fullness
that creates
of
the
the
boundary.
self, yeah.
It's kind of what Luciana was saying, like make sure you're sitting in a space
Yeah.
that you're full. And so those are important. Maybe you can you can send this, what you're writing, to me.
Oh,
And
I didn't write everything. You should have told me before.
that's okay. I can do it too. I can remember. I just want to use the same words so you guys can. Okay. So the technique is sweeping, and everything is happening from the navel, right? So you're not going from here up. You always go navel down, navel up, because that reminds her of her origin, right? So that's the first one. Second one is to fill up the water bottle with a warm water and to just move it down. The third one, everywhere, including her face. And then, so what are you doing with this? You're communicating with the skin, you're communicating with the superficial fascia, right? And then all of this information is seeping down into the deep fascia. And then the third technique is the, what can we hold this?
Jiggling? No.
Well, we can call it jiggling, bone jiggling, maybe. Bone jiggling. And then
Vibratory jiggling kind of, right? 'Cause you're-
bone jiggling.
Yeah.
If we would have
Yeah.
names for it, it would be easier for us to remember. And then this could be hip opening. And I came in the front and I did the, what can we call this one?
Like the pressure, right? Like it's almost like you're kneading. It's almost like you're kneading her feet.
Can you do that only with the feet, like this
Yeah.
technique? So,
Like a gas.
Maybe paddling?
Pat.
Paddling.
Pat.
I just see tilting, but yeah,
Tilting. Okay, feet
So it's a
tilting.
hip
Or
relief.
rolling,
It's a
rolling.
hip relief by
But this is also hip relief, but this is
a knee.
also
Hip
Just
relief.
the hands on the ankles and
hands
and
on the ankles and then
rolling
Yes.
from
rolling feet. Feet rolling. Okay, feet rolling. Feet rolling, hip releasing.
the lift.
Balancing the
You can
joints.
do both, really. Like this and like that.
Yeah, and you can also do the jiggle like this. How you can do this on your own? Did you write them, all of them?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, she can do this on her own by what I call flip and jiggle, which is you just move your feet. Yeah, that's a flip and jiggle. So usually if I would say to people, go into a posture, they would do a yoga posture and then I'll let them flip and jiggle. And then they would go into another yoga posture and I would do them flip and jiggle. So I would just try to, each posture in between to be a flip and jiggle. Yeah, you see, she connects to everything now. So everything is gliding around everything. And then you can pause and then she can enjoy this moment of just feeling the waves, vibration, tingling, pulsing. You see, she's nodding. So she could really, really feel that. It's so beautiful for them to do that on their own. So that's a one self technique that could be done after everything is open.
Are you flipping or flicking? Flipping?
Flip,
You flipping your feet? Okay, yeah.
flipping your feet. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why the talus bone connection, which we didn't do today, but we will tomorrow, is helpful a lot. Okay, so can you feel, Barb, that example when we thought of the water hydration moving through the layers and that everything is kind of gliding? Can you feel that through the body? Yes. Totally. And you can feel why we say the importance of the back body yielding into the ground. So the front body is kind of like a blanket on top of the back body. Can you feel that too? Mm-hmm. Can you also feel your center? Can you feel that centeredness? Yeah, you see? And can you feel your navel radiation? So she basically feels like a baby in utero right now, surrounded with this amniotic sac, which is an amazing space of being. So she can rest like this. If she rests like this, she's connected to the health of the body.
Mhm.
That's what we want. We're not interested with diseases. Everybody can find a disease. We're interested to find the health of the body.
From
And
the inside.
from the inside.
Mhm.
And we want everything to connect with that
Mhm.
health of the body.
All those systems, yeah.
All the system, all the layers, and everything is layery. So if you think about everything is like a onesie within a onesie within a onesie within a onesie, in the bones inside of it, and organs are also one onesie that has these 3 layers. So if everything is gliding and connecting, then there is a sense of peace, tranquility, centeredness, groundedness, rooting, and there is a connection through the midline that plugs her with the energy of life force.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah,
is
she's getting
now,
plugged
she
in.
is now in
Getting-
the process of
Getting charged.
totally she's
Yeah.
getting charged.
Yeah.
She's totally getting charged.
Yeah.
She has an electrical, actually what we did, we're always charged,
Yeah.
but we're obstructing our chargingness. So what we took is all the abstractions of the patterns of holding, and we just let the body be naturally in that space like children's
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
You
At
agree?
ease instead
At
of at dis-ease.
Exactly.
That's a- yeah.
Okay, so
So is that, I mean, there's, you know,
Never
all
thought
these
about that.
float
Oh, I
houses
use
and
that
some
one.
discuss
Oh,
right
yeah.
now happening. Is
oh,
that
that's a
idea?
good question. So floating houses are very similar. They have to have this effect. But if you have a postural holding, I call it molding. Like you're always going to come back into this mold. If this is your posture,
Right.
posture is always, like Alexander says, posture is never posture. It's always actor. It's always action within the posture. So if you have this action within the posture, even if you lie down in the water, you're going to feel like you're lying down on a rock and you're going to feel so uncomfortable. You're going to get out from there. You're going to feel claustrophobic. But if you really relax through the layers, this is what you're going to get. This quality. Like you're floating.
Totally. Yeah. Except I think this, I mean, I like the idea of being in the water, but I don't like the idea of, and I think also there's the personal attention here of somebody else, where the other place you're all by yourself.
I can totally see through her skin right now and her sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system that more of the inner systems are now talking to each other. They're really talking to each other, and they're saying to her, "You can yield. You can really relax and heal." It's almost like she's now
Yeah.
like filled with water.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when my daughter was a newborn, and